Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as usual, we're going to go over the market, talk about what happened, what we can expect for the rest of the week, and all that good stuff as per usual. So as usual, if you guys enjoyed the video, then don't forget to hit the like button. It does help quite a bit, ladies and gentlemen. But let's just jump straight into it. Tesla ending the day down 1.14% as expected, which puts us at $284.82 compared to the NASDAQ, for instance, down a percent. So Tesla performing slightly better than it normally would, I guess, relative to the market. SPY down about 0.66%. So, Tesla doing, not fantastic, but definitely, not too bad at all, right? At the same time. So it's like, it's respectable. Let's just say that. So all that being said and done, guys, let's talk about what I expect to happen. So again, like I've said several times, guys, just start looking straight at the daily. I mean, it's looking ultimately quite bearish, right? Now, the one thing that the bulls have going for them, and I've talked about this several times last week as well, maybe even before that, I can't remember, but I've mentioned this many times, how this level right here, this 280 level, is extremely important, right? This is the level you really don't want to lose for the bulls. And this is the level that the bears really want to take out. They couldn't do it today, and we bounced off of it, right? I think twice, actually, too, if we just take a quick look at the daily. Yeah, almost twice. This was pretty close, but this was like the real bounce right here at 280.66, essentially, right? This was the bounce that the bulls wanted to see so far, at least to have even some hope still. Now, personally, again, I am still overall net bearish despite me having a couple of bullish positions. I did day trade a bit as well today, made a couple $100. Plus, I still have my two other positions that I'm holding for probably like half this week at least or so. The sold puts, right? So again, I want to say that very clearly, like I am still ultimately bearish, right? We did come up in gap fill pretty much, like there's like, we didn't fully gap fill. There's like a very small sliver left, as you can see on, like say, the 5-minute chart, right? We came up, just barely went up to the gap fill. If you actually kind of zoom in right here, this is the gap fill right about here. We didn't really quite touch it. We went to 287. So we're pretty much about a half a point or so off, right? Which is not too bad. It's pretty close, but I don't know if I would justify this as a gap, being filled. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. But I personally would still wanted to see it come up to this level. Now, pretty much what I see happening over the next couple of days or so is I'm personally expecting tomorrow to be green. Again, like I said, Mondays rhyme with Fridays and Tuesdays are opposites, right? So I personally expect the market and Tesla to most likely be green tomorrow, right? Again, like a decent chance, not financial advice, make your own decisions. And pretty much for the rest of, maybe like until maybe tomorrow and Wednesday or something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised, and what I'm personally expecting, this is why I'm holding my two bullish positions still, is I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla, let's look at the daily actually, if Tesla, so you can see we did get rejected by this red line that I've been talking about, but with that being said, I personally wouldn't be surprised if we get a false break up to the north of this red line, come up to this red line up here, which was the line that we ultimately had this little breakdown, which kind of, followed up with more sell-off pressure, this little kind of, zone that we were trapped in. Come up, retest this maybe tomorrow or the day after, which will pretty much put us at like 292-ish, give or take, a couple of points there. Most likely get rejected by that general level, around 292-ish. Pretty much confirm this breakdown from this like wedge that we were trading in. And then from there, I think we will pretty much continue the sell-off, probably all the way down to somewhere over here. Ultimately, I expect us to, at the very least, fill this gap, like minimum, like 247, right? That's kind of what I'm personally expecting at the very moment, right? Taking a look at the quick indicators that we like to look at, the EMA, we're well below that. The Bollinger Band, we did bounce off the red line of the Bollinger Band, which isn't too bad. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sideways consolidation and or movement to the upside again to around 292, for the next couple of days. If we do, I will most likely exit my two positions. If we don't, then I'll just kind of let it happen and, I'll see what happens. At this point, I wouldn't mind if I'm forced to buy some shares of Tesla. Again, mainly because I have literally 0 shares at the moment of any stock ever. I have no shares. I'm pretty much all cash other than my two kind of, small-ish bullish positions that I have entered on Friday last week. So I wouldn't mind. And if I do enter, if I am forced to buy, it's not a problem with me. I will be just simply selling longer data calls. Anyways, so the Bollinger Band, we are bouncing off the red line, right? The 50 moving average, which I do expect to come down to it at the very least sometime, like honestly within the next week or two, probably like within the next 2 weeks-ish. Wouldn't not be shocked whatsoever to see Tesla down here. Somewhere around the 50-day moving average. It will slowly keep creeping up, of course, but nonetheless, the 200 moving average, I don't see us touching that anytime soon again. I'll be surprised if we ever come up to it again, I'll be honest. We got rejected and played around with it way too much already, and, clearly the bears won. So yeah, I would be genuinely surprised if we come up and touch it one more time. Like maybe if we break past 292, we'll come up one more time, but like I wouldn't put my, I wouldn't bet on it. Let's just say that. And then the 10 and the 5 were still, of course, well below that. So naturally, guys, the chart in pretty much almost any angle you want to look at it is looking net bearish. The only slight positive bullishness is the fact that we also have arguably a double bottom. However, this double bottom is a little strange because the double bottom is usually a sign of a reversal in a bearish trend. Which I guess we're technically in overall, but on this little time frame that we're talking about where this pattern essentially exists, it's not a downtrend, right? This is technically an uptrend that we kind of went from up here. So this isn't really like the most convincing double bottom. However, this is a convincing double top, mainly because it's happening in an uptrend or like a short-term-ish uptrend. And this was like a nice double bottom because this happened after, a massive downtrend. And after a massive downtrend, you get double bottom, then you go up. After a massive uptrend, you get a double top, then you go down, right? That's kind of how it usually plays out. So again, I do want to make this very clear. It's looking quite bearish. The volume today was only like 20 million roughly. Again, you have to divide this, actually even less than that. I think even less than 20 million. This is divided by 3. So probably like 16, 17-ish million or so. Math is, 41 divided by 3, so sometimes you have to do it quick on the spot. Anyway, somewhere around that general level. So you can see just, the easiest way to look at it is just compare it right here. Obviously fairly low volume today on, a greenish day compared to where we opened up, right? Let's just say that. So, not that convincing as well. The RSI on the daily still is looking like quite bearish. Like this is just not looking great at all. We're making lower lows, even though the stock is still technically not making an ultimate lower low. We still bounced off of the same level that we were over here back when the RSI was easily at 56. Now we're sitting all the way down at 48, even though the stock technically set a higher low. If you want to be really, technical about it, because we didn't go lower than this level here, which was 297, right? We went all the way down to 280, right? So technically that's higher low, but the RSI clearly making a lower low, right? So ultimately, guys, it's just looking very, very bearish. Even though I do expect the next couple of days to be potentially some, green, some maybe confirmation of the breakdown, which again will bring us to 292 if it were to happen, or just some sideways consolidation. I see one of those two things happening for the next 2 days. Either we get some sideways consolidation and extremely little green, maybe come back up to like 288, or we come up to 292. But nonetheless, I don't expect to go much higher than that. And then after one of these happens, or after some consolidation of just essentially going sideways for a day or two, doing really not much all at all, then I expect to continue the downtrend at the bottom, at the very least to come down to the 50 moving average, which we talked about being all the way down over here, somewhere around 270 probably by the time we come down to it, maybe slightly higher than that. But ultimately, I still expect to come down to this 247 and definitely gap fill this at some point, probably in September. I also wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. September is historically quite a poor month, one of the worst months of the year, actually, believe it or not. And that's kind of what I'm seeing, guys. Taking a look at the slightly shorter time frame, however, you can see, it's not looking fantastic. It's not looking, that amazing. The RSI in the 1 hour is not looking that great. Still making lower lows on the RSI as well. If you look at the very, very short term, however, it's not looking that bad, which kind of, tells me that maybe we'll get a bit of a push, the next couple of days or so. It's setting up, some small, like mini bullish divergences, but like nothing too crazy, man. Very, very little strength being shown right now. So again, I don't expect the move to be too much higher than, again, going up to around 292, which will from now be around maybe like 2.5% up. And then I really don't think there'll be much more steam left in, in the engine, if you will, to go much higher than that. And then I think, we're just going to slowly start collapsing from there. As September continues to roll around, the Fed is going to start their quantitative tapering, of course, right? Of course, removing assets and whatnot from the market. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to be bullish about, guys. I can be completely honest. This month it's just not looking that great. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you have any suggestions or opinions or whatever, let me know what you think as well. And a lot of people were asking if I still see my price target of pre-split. It was around 500, give or take, right? It was my pre-split, which puts us post-split somewhere around like 165-ish, give or take, like let's say 10 points, right? I do still definitely see that happening, right? So pretty much to me, worst case scenario, what I see happening, like this is something that like this to me would be like not like the literal worst case scenario, like literal, like absolute horrible, like everything just went as wrong as it possibly can, will be like Tesla all the way down to like at least like below 100. Well, do I see that happening? Extremely low chance, like no, like 1% chance. However, like maybe like a 20% chance of like a realistic worst case scenario. I personally see Tesla coming down to around 150. That to me is like a realistic worst case scenario. But personally, not financial advice, do your own research. I really do think we might see like something like 185-ish, give or take, like 10 points, right? I definitely would definitely see that happening. And what I'm personally thinking of doing myself, if you're wondering, is you know, I wouldn't mind accumulating a little bit of shares and, you know, just kind of, you know, very lightly start around maybe like 250, you know, somewhere around this kind of, you know, mid 200s range, very, you know, kind of start nibbling a little bit. But I really want to start going much more aggressive once we get to the low 200s, like somewhere around like, you know, between 220 to like 180, anywhere near that range, in my opinion. And again, not financial advice, make your own decisions, is accumulation range. And after that, I also make sure I want to leave some gunpowder left for if we somehow come up all the way down to like 150. I don't think we will. Also, I think most likely we'll come down to somewhere in this range right here between, you know, 210 to like 180 ish. That's kind of the range where I personally think is just like straight accumulation zone. You know, but again, that's just my, you know, decision. That's just what I personally want to do. You know, if that's not what you think is right, then obviously don't do it. You know, make your own decisions as usual. This is not financial advice. Make that very clear. But yeah, ultimately, guys, I do expect to make a lower low than this. I wouldn't be surprised if we make a lower low than here as well, which again will ultimately put us at 150. That to me is the realistic worst case scenario. So we'll see what happens as the month and the year continues to go. But other than that, I will be trading it, you know, as we continue kind of chopping around and stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think down below. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.